Focus on Liberia. We discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jack.
I have no doubt that after your address, Mr. President, and the rest of the 3 days together, each delegate will go home with fire in their minds, soul, and brain, and they will be restless until Liberia is transformed to be the best country in the world. May God bless this forum. May God bless all of you who took the time to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. J. Mutotabe, President of the Best Brains International University. Today, we notice that we have trailblazers whom we can look up to for direction in leadership, in entrepreneurship, in politics. The room is so full with brains, with ideas, and with people of great stature. So one of them, we're going to call on Honorable Christian A. Omotoni from the UNRC, who will give us a special reminder. Angela, please stand as you make welcome to the stage.
Please have a seat. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Boakai, Senior, esteemed ministers and members of government present, dear UN colleagues, dear students, faculty, organizers, mainly the brilliant youth and the future leaders of Liberia, also present leaders, I should say, all of you gathered here, good morning. Yes. So it is a profound honor to address the opening of the Africa Students Leadership Forum. Please permit me to address you on a theme that is not just an academic concept, but the very pulse of Liberia's destiny. And that is, how do we harness Liberia's sustainable transformation? What this means in simple English is that how do we harness the power of the youth, because they are the majority in this country, for sustainable development. Let me begin by expressing my most profound respect and appreciation to His Excellency, President Joseph Boakai. Mr. President, your unwavering commitment to revitalizing Liberia through the Arrest Agenda, focusing on agriculture, roads, rule of law, education, sanitation, and tourism, provides a powerful living example of how focused national leadership can lay the foundational infrastructure for growth. Your strong public stance on tackling corruption and promoting accountability echoes a continent-wide demand for ethical governance, a demand that is central to realizing the vision we're discussing today. Africa is the world's youngest continent. Liberia, a quarter of
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, From education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology, Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jack.
The country to move forward. So it is a window that can generate accelerated economic growth and lift millions of poverty, but it's not automatic. The dividend is earned through intentional policy and most crucially through leadership. If this enormous human capital is not empowered, educated, and employed, the dividend risks turning into a demographic burden. It means that the youth, more than being the engine of growth, will be the burden of growth. A source, if not well harnessed, the young ones, they will be a source of instability, frustration, and all sorts of problems. So our collective challenge, therefore, is to act decisively today to transform potential into prosperity. Yes, you can clap for that. And McGill, this is not the job only of government. It's not the job of any partner only. It's not the job of civil society. It's the job of the young people themselves. What do you contribute to this journey? So, a lot also is bound into this journey. Things like integrity, accountability, transparency in leadership. The young people will not just wake up one day and they are leaders. They have to get certain qualities that qualify them to accompany President Boakai in the journey of leading this country. I'm proud that you accompanied him in the General Assembly. He's the only president who went with children and youth people to the General Assembly. And the messages you said there are still echoing in the UN building and global partners. What were the Liberian children and the youth saying? So the first and most critical lever for unlocking the demographic dividend is the establishment of robust, ethical governance. Every dollar diverted by corruption is the dollar stolen from a student scholarship, a youth startup fund, and a community health clinic. So corruption is the ultimate tax on transformation, and as we see where this country is going on with this issue of corruption, we feel that it's in the right direction. Integrity, and the young people must adopt to what President Boakai is doing on corruption. If you grow from a young person as a corrupt person, then whatever we want to get from your usefulness is destroyed from the beginning. Don't copy the wrong behaviors, copy the right behaviors. Integrity must be the cornerstone of your generation's leadership. It means doing the right thing even if no one is watching you. It's that you don't have to say my mom, my dad, or my minister of youth or whatever. Integrity is when you learn to do the right thing, even if no one is watching you, because you know in any case, your God is watching over you. Yes, that's the point. Accountability means that resources, public, private, and donor funding must be tracked, monitored, and justified. Transparency is the oxygen that keeps the flame of public trust alive. You as young leaders must only demand these values from your government, but more importantly, embody them as your daily lives. In your school club, business, when you do a startup, in your future political roles, in everything. Good governance ensures that national investments in health, education, and infrastructure are maximized, thereby creating the productive, healthy, and skilled workforce needed to drive the economic engine. Without integrity, the dividend dissipates into the hands of a few rather than multiplying across the hands of the many. I want to say a little bit about youth as architects of peace and drivers of innovation. Again, the demographic dividend cannot be realized in the shadow of conflicts, in the shadow of young people going into drugs, in the shadow of anything that does not focus on the national plan. Instability. I've lived in a country that has had terrible instability. Instability displaces populations, destroys infrastructure, and most tragically, fractures the social fabric upon which economic growth depends. In many parts of Africa, the very youth who represent the dividend are either disproportionately affected by conflict or wrongly co-opted into it. So we must change this narrative. Youth are not merely benefits of peace. You must be its most effective architects. The UN Security Council Resolution 2022-50 on youth, peace, and security recognizes young people as critical agents of change. I want to thank the Ministry of Youth for having led the development of a national action plan on youth, peace, and security. I want to thank the Republic of Liberia, now sitting at the Security Council, to be one of the pillars is youth, peace, and security, in addition to women.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jack.
They come out of that, and they knew exactly where a trouble spot might emanate, and they were already deployed themselves, and they would say, watch here, there is no problem that is going to happen. That is the youth that I was so proud of when I reported to my Secretary General about the role of young people during the recent election. It was the same for women and different people. And everybody wonders, how come the very peaceful elections, very peaceful transfer of power, it doesn't, I was telling the platforms where I am addressing that it doesn't help it doesn't happen just like that. There are people behind that, and there is so young people behind that. So thank you so much. Yeah, the intercommunal dialogue. So leading reconciliation and mediation efforts, bridging ethnic and political divides in your communities is a very, very important homework. Very, very important homework for the youth. We rely on you. You don't carry any burdens of the past. You didn't kill anyone. You're looking for the future. So any meaningful community dialogue will have to involve youth. You understand reconciliation better than anyone because you're looking for your future and also encountering hate speech. We rely on utilizing social media not as a tool for division, but as a platform to promote cohesion, tolerance, and respect. You understand social media more than any other person that you see in this room. We are basically illiterate in this area, and you are literate. I know that even any politician or any person who wants to use social media for the wrong thing, they are employing young people because they don't know how to use Instagram, they barely know how to use Facebook, and if anyone employs you for destruction, please resist. Please resist. Use your knowledge of social media, your knowledge of technology to build your country. It is your country. So, and this is true for the whole of Africa. To transform Africa, we need stability. To secure that stability, we need you to be the primary custodians of peace, driving solutions and inclusion from the local level up to the national stage. I'm sorry, I have a lot to say. I hope you allow me the time, because this is the most important population that, again, use leveraging innovation and technology for development. The single greatest differentiator between a demographic burden and a demographic dividend is productivity. Basically, the difference between the youth being a burden and the youth being being useful, being bringing productivity is the greatest accelerator of what we can achieve as productivity today from technology. Africa's leapfrogging potential lies in your ability to harness the digital revolution. The world is moving very fast. If you don't catch this train and leapfrog, it will be very difficult to catch up. We see Africa's young innovators already leading the way, from mobile banking solutions that are deepening financial inclusion across the continent, to agri-tech apps that connect smallholder farmers directly to markets, and telemedicine services that are bridging healthcare to rural and underserved populations. This is not just about consumers of technology, it is about becoming its co-creators. We want co-creators in this room to be the lead in technology. African universities and leadership forums like this must prioritize digital literacy. Training, I understand there's a program to train over 10,000 young leaders in digital skills, as President Boakai's administration has pledged. This kind of decision is very important, and it's an action that is required. Let's watch out for that. Can we achieve it? It depends on you. I'm too old, people are too old for it. It's up to you to achieve this 10,000. STEM education. Reforming curricula to focus on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, particularly data science and artificial intelligence. You've heard about AI. Again, this is you. I don't understand AI at all. I feel desperate in this situation, but seeing the number of you that we have in the room, I know Africa will not get lost. The local solutions, developing scalable technological solutions tailored to Africa context, such as renewable energy, microgrids, and climate smart agriculture. I always say that we go to AI, ChatGPT, and we ask, but if we don't feed these systems, what we get out is from other people. We will continue to be enslaved by people who feed those systems if we don't feed them. So it's garbage in, garbage out. But if you don't want garbage in, garbage out, feed these systems. It can only be you. I don't know how to do it. It can only be you, the young ones. Entrepreneurship for young people is also very important. I know that the UN system is committed to supporting regional innovation hubs, technical ecosystems, ensuring that the necessary infrastructure and policy frameworks are in place. Innovation because it's the engine. But you are the fuel. So I know that the government, as we see in the commitment in the AID, is ready to put up this infrastructure. But this infrastructure means nothing if there's no fuel to fuel this. So, to absorb the millions of young people entering the workforce each year, Africa cannot rely solely on public sector or established corporations. We need an explosion of dynamic homegrown businesses, enterprises founded by you, the youth. We need job creators and not job seekers. Entrepreneurship is a practical mechanism that translates human capital into economic output. It is the bridge from idea to impact. However, the journey from an idea to sustainable enterprise is challenging. It requires a supportive ecosystem. Government, private sector, and international partners must work together to improve access to finance, de-risk financing for youth-led ventures, utilize seed grants, venture capital, and local banking. I'm happy that when there, I think Liberia is the first country that is going to be having like a youth bank or a youth financing security, financial institution. So mentorship and business training providing structured programs that offer potential skills in financial management, market access, and legal complication is necessary. Regulatory simplification, cutting the red tape that often stifles young entrepreneurs, make it easier and faster to register a business and to pay taxes. So when you launch a startup, whether it is a mobile platform, a value-add agriculture business, a sustainable fashion line, you are not only creating your own livelihood, but you are also creating employment for your peers. You are the structural transformers of the African economy. As I conclude, my friends, I call you my friends. You know, Minister of Youth knows that there is any event for the youth, I will cancel everything and I will attend the youth. So this potential demographic dividend is knocking on your door. It's knocking on Africa's door. This window of opportunity is fleeting. It requires us for government partners, especially you, the young people, the students, the leaders of today and tomorrow, to make the right choices. We need a leadership revolution defined by integrity to protect public wealth, peace-driven generations that build cohesion over conflict, a culture of innovation that harnesses technology for inclusive growth, and an entrepreneurial spirit that transforms classroom into company headquarters. The UN system that I represent in this country, through the Sustainable Development Goals and the UN Cooperation Framework, is your committed partner in this journey. We are here to convene, to invest, and to advocate for policies that will ensure success. But ultimately, and I tell you, ultimately, the future of Liberia does not depend on us. Not at all. It's a drop in the ocean. It depends on you, the young people. Seize the moment. Do not just wait for the transformation. Be the transformation. Lead with vision, act with integrity, and build the prosperous, peaceful Liberia we know is within reach. I want this, I wanted to stop here, but before I stop, allow me even 1 minute. The reason I'm asking for this 1 minute, as I was sitting there, I remembered the president's story. I've heard it many times about how he grew from a humble background, how he worked hard to go to school, how it was so difficult to get a meal, and how he is here sitting in this chair. Yeah. So it means with resilience, hard work, not giving up, we can achieve. And then I saw that I've never really told my own story. You know, I was born as a refugee. You know, Rwanda, I come from Rwanda, a country that has gone through many conflicts. My parents were chased away and all that. I want to tell you that I almost dropped out of primary school. We had no food. And my father had boys and girls and prioritized the boys. So it was my turn to get out of school. It's a long story, but I was saved by my primary school teacher, Miss Robina, who said, no, there is a lot of potential in you. Came home and asked me, my parents, for me to go and stay over a weekend with her. And she really told me, just study hard, you never know, just pass your exams. Because I was saying, if I have no money to go to high school, why should I even waste my time with exams? But it is by studying hard and passing those exams that I was able to get a scholarship. And eventually, that scholarship took me up to youth. My father never, ever, bothered again where to get my money. It was my hard work, my sweat, my sleepless nights that sustained the scholarship. So, to go to university when you're a refugee, I don't know the experience of some of you, but you, as a refugee, you are a second-hand citizen. You will not be allowed to go to university before the people of the land go to university. And to do that, I had somebody adopt me and become my caretaker, and this is the person I registered, and that's how I went to university. It's a long story, but at some point, my parents moved from one refugee camp to another. I stayed at the university with the people who were taking custody of us, not knowing where to put me, where to send me. But still, I persisted and passed law school, and but it's during those days that we really wondered, why are we refugees? Where does the solution lie? How can we regain our country? It's another story, maybe I'll write a book, but I joined the liberation movement to liberate my country at 23 years old. And after the war, I joined the young people rebuilding the nation. And we were volunteers. We didn't ask for a salary, we didn't ask for a car, we didn't ask for anything. We just, as long as we have food, we work and work and work. So I can tell you, maybe some of you will have an opportunity to visit Rwanda. It was destroyed by the youth, and it is being built by the youth. It's possible by the youth. So really, one last thing, I know time is going. I was supposed to get a better job, but I was pregnant and I had a 2-year-old child. I still went for that master's. I finished it because without it I wasn't getting a job. So just to say that resilience means when God gives you lemon, you make lemonade. So don't be a victim, but be victors. When God gives you lemon, make lemonade. So be the future that we want. And from my example, from many people's example, you know that it's possible and you have the power in your hands. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. seats, please. We have a dynamic voice in the house. We have a dynamic voice in the house, the BBI choir. Let's put our hands together as we see the BBI choir.
With my dignity, thank you, Lord. I'm not Liberia. All right. Thank you, Lord. No, 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 no. Wake up, Mama Liberia. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Wake up, Mama Liberia. Oh, it's good, oh, it's good, wake up, oh, Mama Liberia. Oh, it's good, wake up, oh, Mama Liberia. Oh, it's good. the slaves of addiction. For here is going to see the lost ability, restoring our God. It's dignity. Wake up, Mama Liberia. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Wake up, Mama Liberia. What would happen next, Lord? Yeah. Wake up, give praise. What would happen next, Lord? Wake up, what would happen next, Lord? Yeah. Wake up, Lord. Just to show how much he cares. Come, Mama, to the dawning of the new day. All right, all right. There is freedom everywhere. Mama running here and there. Wake up, boy. Give him the praise. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Wake up, Mama Liberia. No, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. Wake up, Mama Liberia. Praise it, right good, that's a Lord. Praise it to my God. Oh, it's good in His love. Wake up. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Wake up, Liberia, Liberia.
You want to do better than that for the choir. Wake up, Mama Liberia. Thank you. The Honorable Chair Paul Bankalu, Minister of Youth and Sports, and other government officials in the House present. The Reverend Dr. J. Luther Tata, founder and president of Best Brains International University. Madam Christine N. Omotoni, United Nations Resident Coordinator in Liberia. The Reverend Dr. Simeon L. Dumba, Pastor of Liberty Christian Church and Chairman of the Board of Trustees of Best Brains International University. Students of African Leadership Forum, distinguished guests, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen. Education, marking an African Student Leadership Forum.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics.